15 minutes. Let's see if this charge moved. Because if I don't need it, I won't come up. Can you guys hear me? This is not working.
Alrighty.
What is going on?
How are we? Sorry, guys, we're late.
James?
It's Jay's fault.
James, do you have your computer?
It's Jay's fault. If something goes wrong, it's Jay's fault always. Hold on. I gotta move these around. All right.
We in here.
Are we good?
We Gucci.
Uh-oh. Background noise.
Hold on.
Who watching CNN?
Not me.
No.
There we go. It was me.
It's always you. Anyway.
Yo,
Are we ready?
Man, let's go.
Okay. Anyway, hello everyone. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Tip for Tech podcast. I'm Carolyn. I'm one of your hosts.
I'm Jay, and I'm the tip for tat, and she is the tip for tat. And we go tip for tat all night long with our tip for tat nation and our tip for tat co-hosts, Jay and Eddie, and hopefully we're going to have Sean. Let's go!
Okay, yes. We are, so last week we did a topic, hiding behind our fears, and it got rather spicy. It was very engaging. And so tonight we're doing part 2. And hopefully we'll have our guest from last week on at some point. Because she was a Leo and she brought the fire. Oh, and it's still Leo season. So a shout out to all the Leos in the building. Don't look at me like that. It's still Leo season. It really is. It's still Leo season. So shout out to all the Leos, okay?
I swear to God, y'all have like the longest season ever. I feel like this is going to go on forever.
No, it's not. But it really just started, though, because we go through like the 23rd or something like that, the 22nd. So we have a few more days. We got like 10 more days. Anywho.
I feel like it'll never end.
It's going to end at some point. Thank you. I love it. JBZ, we appreciate you. Leo season. What's up? Anyway, hide behind her fears. She's ready?
Sean says she's in the waiting room.
Oh, okay. Hello.
How are you?
Good.
What up?
You can hear us now?
Everything's good? I was having all kind of technical difficulties over here.
That's okay. It happens all the time. I just blame Jay. I told him it was his fault. So you're good. Anyway, welcome back again. So we're just picking up where we left off from last week, hiding behind our fears. And I think last week we talked about fear of commitment. I know that was one. There was fear of accountability.
Fear of rejection.
Fear of rejection. And
fear of not being accepted.
Yeah, fear of loss of freedom. And I actually did a poll on my personal page today with those 4. So fear of accountability, fear of loss of freedom, fear of commitment, and fear of rejection. And 40% of the respondents said that fear of a loss of freedom is their biggest fear. And it was spread evenly across the board with the other 3. So I thought that was interesting because that's kind of like my biggest one for sure, is that fear of like loss of freedom, like not being able to move around, do what I want to do, having to like consider other people when I, make my decisions and whatnot. So, and I could go on and on about that.
Heaven forbid if we think about somebody else.
You said what? Oh.
Heaven forbid if we have to think about somebody else.
But I want it to be like a choice. I think about other people all the time, but I don't want to feel obligated to do it. Like I just want to
No, I got you. I'm playing.
Out of the goodness of my heart. So that's mine. And
here's what I don't understand though. Why can't we be free and in a relationship?
Because you can't.
That's it. That's the tweet.
You can't. Like, take for example.
That's the tweet.
Okay, so
That's the TED talk.
yeah, that's it. That's all you got to know. No, so okay, let's just take the panel for example. Okay, I'm a single gal. J. Mitch married. Eddie married. I'm gonna let y'all two answer y'all's because I don't know.
I'm divorced.
Divorced
Okay,
and divorced.
Divorced and divorced. Okay. So divorced and divorced. So if let's say Jay, you wanted to go, I don't know, to Carnival or something like that in Toronto where there's half naked women running around all the time.
Are there?
At that, what's it called?
I'm joking.
Caravana.
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 Do you think that, say you wanted to go on a little boys trip to Caravana as a divorced man, do you think that if you called Jay, Mitch, and Eddie up and invited them to Caravana for a boys trip, that would go over well? You think that they could go? I mean, and it's not like you need permission to go, but is that the best environment for a married man to be in is where I'm going with that. Not like your wife said you can't go, so you have to sit at home type of thing.
I mean, why couldn't they go? And I'll let the fellas answer for themselves because they're the ones that they know their wives, but why couldn't they go?
Okay.
I could go. Y'all just got to give me, you got to give me enough time. See, that's the thing about my single friends. Is they think I could stunt the same way I could stunt when I was single. Because I got kids now. To your point, I gotta make sure everybody is good. So give me at least 2 weeks, and we'll go.
So you're saying you just need some notice to like make sure everything's good and in order before you leave out.
Because in real life, I have friends that will literally hit me up a couple days of and be like, "Yo, let's go to Toronto. Caravana's popping," and I'm like, "Bruh, it's Thursday. You want to go Saturday? I can't do that. I can't stunt. My kid's got a game. My other kid got a tournament." Bro, I can't get it moving.
But that's my point, because I can do that. Like if my friends call me and say, "Listen, I was trying to go on a trip, my last little few days of freedom that I have." So see, I'm scared right now. I got to go back to work on Monday. So with my last little few days of freedom that I have from not having to work, I was trying to go on a trip. But again, to your point, so my friends who have jobs that are working right now couldn't just be like, okay, let's go. Whereas I could. It's the same way an example that would give, like, you need time to be able to arrange that. So you can't just go when you want to go. But I'm sorry, Jay Mitch, go ahead.
I was going to say I could go, but I would just have to, let everybody realize that we're not going to Caravana. We're going to the Quebec Caribou Festival that they have every year. To raise money for the endangered caribou.
Gotcha.
Because you get in a space where you committed to somebody, and a lot of times, certain situations, it's like it's not really an issue, but it's like, how much do you really want to go and why? You know what I'm saying? There's that underlying question of why do you really want to go?
Mm-hmm.
And for some couples, that question is already answered because they got to understand it within themselves and with their partner. Other couples, like there's always that, let me check their socials to see what they up to while they out of town type of thing. You know what I mean?
We don't want that.
No.
What if it was already grandfathered in? What if you was already going before you got with Shorty?
There probably would have been a conversation before that aisle walk, like this is what we gonna be doing and this is what we not gonna be doing, and you either on board with it or not.
I feel like if the plans were made before y'all got into a relationship, that's what they had planned. Like you can't, like, why would you have anything to say about that?
Wait, Jay, you just meant in terms of like a lifestyle, or you meant like if there was a trip planned prior?
No, like as a lifestyle. Like every year, for example, I go to Norfolk State homecoming.
Right.
It's a tradition. I do it for a number of different reasons. Partly because of my father. It's a little thing with my dad and I. I grew up with that. It's my way of supporting a black school, HBCU, et cetera, et cetera. Like it's a tradition for me. So going into any relationship, it's like I don't think I'm gonna give that up because why do I have to?
You shouldn't have to, bro. I'm kind of like in the same mind as Carolyn. Like, when I got with wifey, we were real big on personal growth and also living in the same space with growing with our family. And there is a lot of constriction, a lot of boundaries when you're raising a family and you're being a wife and a husband. But I had my rules off the jump, and she did too. I want to do all the same things I was doing when I was single, because that's important to me, to hang out with the homies, to go to Caravana every year. Never mind they single with a vengeance. That's still the homies. And I still got to do all I still want to be me in all of this space because there's a lot that has to die when you're a family man. But there's still parts that you got to preserve. I know dying is a big word. I know.
It's dead. It's over.
I still got to stop, because at the end of the day, I don't want to be. At the end of the day, I don't want to be that aloof father that's not hip to nothing, because I've been like in my little corner playing one role and we know a lot of men that are fathers that don't know nothing that's going out in these streets, because they're not even allowed to get their own mail. You feel me? Like I'm not gonna be that in my own house. Never that. Yeah. I'm moving. Yo, when we going to homecoming, homies, let me know. Let's go.
I have a question for Sean. So Sean, if you, when you were married, had your husband wanted to go to something like that, or just anywhere on a boys trip where you knew his, single friends was probably going to be acting up, how would you have handled that as a married woman?
So my husband could have gone anywhere he wanted to go, because he never wanted to go nowhere. That was one of the problems. One of the damn problems. He didn't want to go. Like, we never did double dates. We never did anything. It was always just him and I. And that was one of the frustrating things for me. So I would have been like, please just go somewhere like that. That would have been a breath of fresh air for me. Yeah. My relationship after that was something totally different. His ass won't go nowhere.
Yeah, that's not like my wife. My wife's an introvert. So when you
I'm not an introvert at all.
I'm a partier.
Wow. I'm like, listen, I do carnival. I'm gonna dress up in the stuff like we're
that's
gonna
me.
have a ball like all day long. So if you're worried about not having fun, that ain't gonna happen. Mm-hmm. But we did do girls trips and boys trips. I do think that it is important to be with your friends. I definitely think that is. Now, of course, when you're in a relationship, it may be curbed a little bit, but I do think that in order to not lose yourself as who you are, that it is important to spend time with your friends. And the bottom line is, if somebody's going to cheat, they're going to cheat. So you can check all the social media stuff. Somebody is either going to regulate themselves or they're not, or they're going to be really good and you don't know. Either way, if somebody wants to do something, they are going to figure out a way to do it.
That's true. I have married friends, and just because I have married friends, and there are some things that their significant others are not comfortable with them, like going on girls' trips sometimes. Like, I remember I had a married friend that I'm really close to, and I was doing a birthday trip to Miami, and it was kind of like, it's not like a great look for me to go down to Miami for your birthday. I think they had been recently married, maybe like a year or so. Like, they were not newlyweds, but fairly newlyweds. And I remember being like very upset about that, because I wanted her to go, but it's just like, the thing about it is, if you go on a girls trip or you go on a boys trip, like, even if your single friends are wilding, you can still be around the environment without doing anything wrong.
Absolutely.
So it's like, I don't understand. And then, I mean, obviously there's some insecurities.
All insecurity.
Yeah, there's some insecurities there, obviously, but I just don't there's this kind of like ideal or thought that, like, if you go on a boys trip or if you go on a girls trip, like, there's a whole bunch of shenanigans going on. And
it can be. I mean, that happens too.
Yeah, it does.
It depends on who you're with. I know for me, if I'm in a relationship with someone, they have an open invitation. I'm gonna go on my girls trip, but every once in a while, if you just need to peek in and make sure I'm doing you have an open invitation. I'm not hiding nothing. That's just kind of how I do things. People can choose to use it or not. But once you know who you with. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, you know who you're with, and you can choose to focus on, trying to control somebody and keep them on a box, which isn't going to work, because again, they're just going to get back. They're going to make the mistake one time, then they're going to fix that mistake and still do what the hell they want to do. If somebody wants to cheat or step out or do whatever, they're going to do it.
That's facts. I agree with that completely. What
But it
about?
also goes back to freedom, right? Feeling free. If you have freedom and you feel like you can do whatever you want, you oftentimes, I feel like I think you'll try to do the right thing because you don't have any reason not to do the right thing.
Right.
Can you say that again, please? That did not process.
So it's a weird thing, right? When you're with somebody and you have that freedom to do whatever you want, you oftentimes are so happy and gracious that you do have this freedom. You want to do the right thing because you got a great thing going. Like this, you have somebody that trusts you 100%, who's giving you the freedom to do whatever you want. You want to do the right thing. You want to always be like, you know what, man, I could stay out later, but you know what, I'm gonna go home.
No, I don't think you should trust anybody 100%. I believe everybody got a breaking point. I don't care who you are. I believe everybody got a breaking point at some point. So you have to, like, I think there needs to be parameters and rules, but it's going to be surrounding who those two people are and what they're comfortable with.
Why do you think that you can't trust someone 100%?
Because we're human. And everybody has a breaking point. Like people say, oh, I would never kill somebody. Yes, I will. Here's my kid. Like everybody got a breaking point on something. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just who we are as people. I would never knock somebody over the head for something. Hold up. My phone. Fine.
Hey, Tom, please cut that off for us, please.
So everybody has a breaking point at somebody. Everybody there, you can be the most I've known people that are the most faithful people in the world, and they run across somebody with a different level of energy, and it knocks all of that out the door. They don't mean to. I think everybody has a point, so you have to protect it within reason. Like you can't just be out here doing whatever the hell. There needs to be some level of accountability. But again, people know who they're with. And so it's going to be, for one person, it will be something different than for another person. My ex-husband I would have trusted him being, around a whole bunch of butt-ass naked women twerking on him and wouldn't have thought twice about it. But that would not have been what it was with the relationship after that.
Okay, so you talked about accountability, and that was another big fear, and I wanted to dig into that a little bit more, because I honestly, when I did the poll, I thought that would be the biggest fear that people have is accountability, just because it's such a thing that people don't like.
None of y'all like to do it? Oh, okay.
When you say none of y'all, what do you mean? Exactly.
No woman on planet Earth is doing accountability.
That's not true.
That is not true at all.
That's not true.
Why do you think that? Why do you think that?
Do we? Are we about to get spicy now? Are we about to get into
if we need to, why do we think that?
Can I say something?
9 out of 10 times when something happens and it involves a woman and she's to blame, she is not going to take accountability. 9 out of 10 times.
Not true. Flag on play. That ain't true.
Well, this is what I think, Jay, and I kind of agree with you. I think that if you look at the way the world yields to women, and especially if you're a beautiful woman, it's hard. I mean, it's like having a get out of jail free card. Like, why would I want to wait in line? Why would I ever have to apologize? Why would I ever be in a relationship where you're supposed to worship me? I'm the woman. I got the pussy. Like, why would I ever have to tell you that I'm sorry? Ever. Even the way relationship dynamic is set up. We're supposed to worship y'all. We give you 3 months a salary in this ring that we about to put on your hand. What do they say? How they word it, Jay? They gave us the kids, but this really, they rent. We got the kids for rent, really, because if y'all divorces, y'all take the kids with you. But that's sidebar. But at the end of the day, why would you ever have to be accountable to me when the world lets you have everything you want? And it's not that women can't be accountable. I just don't think they can never be accountable on the level of a man.
Maybe we need to define accountability.
Yeah, that's what I was going with that too. Because it sounds like what you just described as entitlement.
Yeah, that's
I think that's the evil of accountability. Like when you have the ego, which I think is evil, with accountability, the ego tells you, you really happy life. I mean, we all know the song, right? We heard it. So it's like when you play into that creed and you in a relationship, like a lot of men kind of get frustrated because they're like, oh, she's not gonna understand. She's gonna jump out the window with whatever. And it's like a lot of times we just kind of know. I know in every relationship, even my marriage, sometimes I find myself going, yo, like you need to understand everything I'm telling you, because it's like this selective hearing that happens in the beef, where it's like y'all don't want to really understand that y'all talking crazy right now. Y'all acting crazy, where we're the ones that have to, you know, like straighten up. Like we can never smack y'all in the face like in the movies or like drag you somewhere. Like that would be crazy. But women can smack the hell out of somebody. Well, didn't we have a show about Boomerang? Like that's crazy. Remember the one where Halle Berry smacks? Like that would never happen. Like that's kind of normal. We're normalized the fact that women can jump out the window, and we just as men cool with that. I consider that accountability. Like to be able to be like a grown up in a conversation that's probably heated sometimes. You know, why you got to put your hands on me? Why you got to threaten me? Why you got to spill a drink on me? Can't you just talk to me or take the L like everybody else? I know I do.
Ooh. Well, first of all, he deserved that because he tried it. So there's that. And no, I don't condone violence, and women should not be putting their hands on men. Not ever at all. It's so okay. I'm gonna punt to Sean because it's just so hard for me to understand women not taking accountability.
Women take accountability. The problem is we communicate different, and what they think is accountability and what we think is accountability are two different things.
Please enlighten us.
Sure. So give me an example of when you think accountability hasn't been taken.
If you do something and you don't say, my bad, I did that.
Yeah, but I don't think that happens. I know if I've done something wrong, I don't have a problem saying I did something wrong. I have zero problem. The issue is that if I don't agree with your assessment of the situation, or that there are some things that led up to that need to be addressed first, then no, you're not going to get it. We're not going to skip A, B, and C that I have a problem with to talk about D that you have a problem with. No, we're going to go in order as A happened, then B happened, and because of B, now I've done C. Now, if it's the other way around, and I've done something, and then
so you're basically saying, even though C was the wrong thing to do, these are the reasons why I did C.
No,
and that makes it better.
No, what I'm saying is, if we're going to talk about something that happened, then we're going to start from A, and then we're going to go to B, and then we're going to go to C. And everybody that is responsible for A needs to take accountability for A. And everybody that is responsible for B needs to take a responsibility for B. And then everybody that's responsible for C needs to take responsible for C. But what's not going to happen is we're going to skip A and B and just talk about C.
What if there's just an A? What if you just did some shit that you just weren't supposed to do? What if there was just an A? There's no A.
Sorry, you keep it pushing.
Yeah.
You say you.
And that does not happen.
It does happen.
It does not.
I don't see how it does not happen.
I have never been told I don't take accountability.
I know, me neither, and I don't understand that at all. Yeah. But is it possible that
they don't like what you're saying? That's it.
Like maybe
and you just don't like it. That could
not even close. Not even close. It has nothing to do with what we're saying. There are times when I have seen it, even not even with me. I've seen it with other people, with couples. A woman will do some wild shit, just and be like, and will stand on the fact that nah, what I just did was not wrong. What? And will stand on that.
Well, I think it's a communication issue. I think that there are some things that men may view as incorrect that women don't, and vice versa. So if we're not communicating the same language and we are not looking at the situation on a common lens, then what you think somebody should be taking accountability for may not exist.
So
go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying, so what you're saying is because we may be looking at what happened through a different lens, I, as the woman, may not feel like that I am accountable because the way that I'm viewing the situation, as opposed to the way the man is viewing the situation, where he's feeling like I was wrong and therefore accountable, and I need to take accountability for that thing.
Yeah, a lot of times we're having two different conversations. The woman is talking about the issue that she has, while the man is talking about the issue that he has, and it's the same topic but different points of view. So until each person seeks understanding before trying to be understood, the other person is not going to think that there's an accountability being taken there.
So how can we fix that? Because I don't want men to feel like that women don't take accountability, right? Because when I hear that, and Jay says it all the time on the show,
but that ain't true. That's not true.
And I can't connect. I cannot connect to it.
100. I can ask 100 men, and 90 of them will say that.
Do you guys feel that way, Jay, Mitch, and Eddie, that women don't take accountability?
It's a different kind of. I don't think they take accountability on the level that we do. Like, for instance, here's something here's a good visual. This recently happened. So we were cleaning the house. We were about to have some guests over, and I had just cleaned the kitchen. My wife come in there and make a mess in the kitchen, and I didn't go off. I respect my wife, so I used the cool, evil keel tone. I said, "Hey, you just saw me bust these dishes. Why can't you just put that away?" And because she didn't like that I was putting her in her place, like, yo, you just saw me do something. Why would you do that? Why, after I just cleaned this whole kitchen? She started deflecting, which is what women are great at. Instead of saying, "Ooh, my bad," which all the Jays would have said, my bad, Ed. I did see you clean this whole kitchen. I put the plate here.
She probably said,
What my wife did instead is what y'all do. Y'all said, "Well, the garage looking crazy. And why ain't you straightening the garage out? Because that was supposed to be done 2 weeks ago." So now we're talking about the garage now.
Right.
So we're not talking about the plate no more. You feel what you see? We know where this play goes. Y'all run this play all the time. Because at the end of the day, it's like, now we're not talking about what you just did. Now you're trying to throw it on me about the garage. And now we're not even talking about nothing. Now
I agree with you, but let me explain to you what that is.
Oh, I already know what that is.
It goes back to what I was saying before. It's the soft tones that are not heard. So if she's saying the garage you were supposed to do 2 weeks ago, that means I have more than ignored the fact that you have missed the deadline. I have more than ignored the fact that this was supposed to be done and you did not do it. And you gonna try to check me on a damn plate?
But so wait a minute. So all that, which has nothing to do with the dishes, makes it okay for you to mess up the kitchen.
Amen.
No.
Amen.
I think you should straighten the kitchen, but I also think that the accountability of the fact that you were supposed to do the garage 2 weeks ago, and we're talking about a plate that was damaged.
So address the garage. That ain't got nothing to do with the dishes. Address the garage.
Well, I mean, that's where the communication breakdown occurs. Because
that's not a communication breakdown.
I'm gonna tell you
what that is. I'm gonna hold that garage thing and the shooters. So when he pulls me on something, I can pull off that car.
It's not that deep. No, that's not it.
No shit.
No.
So why bring up old shit if it ain't? So why bring up old shit if it ain't that deep?
Because it ain't old. Because the garage isn't done, and she hasn't said anything about it for 2 weeks, and you pulling me up on a.
Why not? Why are you waiting 2, 3? Why didn't you say something 2 weeks ago?
It's like this. Let me put it like this. It's like this. It's like, okay, I'm not gonna nag. I'm not gonna do anything. I am going to stuff all of my feelings down about how I feel about the fact that you agreed to do something 2 weeks ago and you haven't done it. I'm not gonna say anything in fairness because I want peace in my house. So I'll wait till whenever and do a nice little soft tone again about, baby, can you clean the garage? And
you're waiting. You're holding it.
Seek understanding first.
Okay. I just want to make sure you're holding it. So go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, I am. So now move forward 2 weeks and you have cleaned the kitchen. Thank you very much. I came in. I did something that I should not have done. Now, I do believe that she should have apologized and she should have cleaned the kitchen. But I probably would have made the comment about the garage as well to show that, listen, I haven't said anything. I have let you live in your peace for 2 weeks. I have stuffed down how I feel about that damn garage. And the moment that I haven't done something, you want to speak about it? Okay, well, I'm going to say sorry. I'm going to put my dish away. But when you get into that garage.
Now,
you know, when you say but after an apology, it don't mean shit.
Hold on. Right. Number one, that apology now means nothing. Number two, what does that say from a community? Now, listening to what you're just saying, right? You're literally upset about this garage, but because you think it's creating peace, which obviously it isn't, because you're still upset about it, and you're waiting to bring it up.
No,
you're literally waiting.
That's not how we do. We're triggered by something that you say. Like, nigga, did you just talk to me about this goddamn plate and you ain't done this garage in 2 weeks? There ain't nobody sitting there like, ooh, let me wait till he does something so I can bring up the garage. Ain't nobody doing that shit.
No.
You're triggered. It's like, this motherfucker is talking to me about a damn plate.
If it didn't bother you, why bring it up? If it didn't bother you, why bring it up?
It does, but that you're not see. You
didn't listen.
What? No. What you say? It does bring it up.
Say it again.
He didn't listen.
No.
He didn't listen. It's
No. Does if it didn't see? Y'all not listening. I asked that question for a reason. If it didn't bother you, why bring it up?
It does bother you. That's what you're not hearing.
If it bothered you, why not talk about it when you were bothered by it?
Jason, do you want to calm down a little bit?
You feel what I'm saying, Jaden? If it bothered you, then if you were bothered by it, talk about it.
You are bothered by it. You did fucking talk about. Oh, I'm not saying fuck tonight. You did talk about it.
We
right.
You said, I am sure that your wife has said more than once, baby. You know the garage needs to be done. The garage needs to be done. This is what you're not understanding. There was a conversation about the garage needing to be cleaned up. There was a deadline put in place as to when the garage would be cleaned up.
Eddie, was there a deadline, Eddie?
For whatever reason.
Eddie, was there a deadline?
No deadline. I mean, but I was supposed to do the garage, but because in my mind, nobody goes in the garage, I got a little lazy. I put that out there. But people come in the kitchen all the time. Feel me? Okay. Jay and Carolyn come in the kitchen all the time. They coming over. I got to get this kitchen right. But you coming in with the plate and you like just putting it right there on the counter. Like after you saw me busting the suds and everything. Like really? So I didn't have an attitude.
He rolled over. I was supposed to do the garage and gave all the excuses in the world as to why he didn't do it and why he thought that his wife's request now became less important because in his mind nobody goes in there.
It wasn't less important.
We go through all of that. And then you say something about
y'all add shit. You add shit.
Late.
You add shit. He didn't say it was less important.
Yo, Sean is a lawyer.
Because I think you guys are missing a very important point that Sean is making.
What's that, Carolyn?
She let it go. She didn't say anything to you about the fact that the garage was not done.
And then hold
on.
You don't listen.
Can I finish? But then the minute you do something, it's you're called out about it
and not accountable
and not accountable for it.
Let's start at A.
So
hold on, stop right there. Stop before you go on. Explain to me how is that letting it go? Please explain that to me.
Okay. It's brought back up once you're triggered by the fact that you had the audacity to say something to me about something. When you were supposed to do something, it was let go until it was triggered back up.
Am I triggered?
It was let go in that moment. It was let go in that moment.
Okay, in that moment.
Jay, you said something deep though, Jay.
How about you should have waited 2 weeks to say anything about that?
Okay,
she did throw it on me like a big joker though.
And that's what she's saying. And that's what she's saying.
The issue right then and there.
But that's what she's saying, and that's where the communication is getting us.
Pastor Mitch got something to say. Pastor Mitch got something.
Yes, what's up, Jay?
Go ahead, Jay.
This whole conversation, each aspect of it and all the parameters in it are an example of how you should be accountable for your own emotions, how you should take responsibility for your emotions when you feel them as they come up. waiting, saving it, using it as a tactic to win a argument in the moment. Ain't none of that gonna work. We talk
I
about
agree with you.
we talk about accountability. We definitely need to be accountable for our emotions and what we do with them. So especially when you're in a relationship with your partner.
I agree with you. I think if somebody is holding something to wait and fire back, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's
right. And I don't think we do that. Like
some people do that. Some men
don't do that.
What that look like though? And I'm gonna keep it funky and edit if I'm wrong. Let me know. But what she did looks exactly like that.
It looks like it, but that's not what it was.
But okay, so again, I hear you. That's not what it was, but that's how it landed. That's how it appeared. It appeared I'm waiting to pull this trigger on some shit that I ain't let go of yet. And so when he calls me out on something, I'm pulling this thing out.
Yeah, I think some people do that, but I don't think most women that's how we process. I think it's no, this nigga did not just say something to me about a damn plate.
Yeah.
After I'm trying to keep the peace, and you done missed this, that, and the other. You done not heard any of my soft tones, and I haven't said anything to you. So maybe, yeah, I'm wrong. I need to put the dish away. But damn it, then can you do the stuff that I asked too?
Can we agree that the two shouldn't even be connected? That what I'm supposed to do should not be connected with what you're supposed to do? Because at that point, if actions are connected like that, then title of the pod is tit for tat. I'm doing this only because you're doing that.
Bars.
That part.
You did this, and because I feel a way about it, now I'm going to do that.
No, but nothing was done. Like she just felt a way because you're trying to hold her accountable for something, but she let something go that you shouldn't.
But we're not asking you to let something go though. That's on you. You let it go.
The incident was isolated. It was her doing something. He spoke on it.
I agree. She should have apologized.
She brought in outside information that was irrelevant to right now. And if it was relevant to now because of how she felt about something he did in the past, then that's where that break should be made. It shouldn't be in this moment, I'm bringing up the past. This moment should only be about the moment. And if this moment has a connection to the past, that should have been dealt with in the past. And if it
was dirty, it wasn't dealt with.
But it was something that should have been done in the past. It was something she felt in the past.
The garage.
No, that's what I'm saying. The garage was in the past. The garage was Wednesday.
No, the garage wasn't done. It's not. Right. It was supposed to be done Wednesday. It's two Wednesdays later.
She opened the door Wednesday. Yeah, she opened the door Wednesday, saw the garage being a mess, and was like, I'm pissed about it. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Here's a dish. Hey, babe, I was just cleaning. Can you do something with that dish? Yo, with the garage. That was before. Before ain't got nothing to do with now. It shouldn't have anything to do with now. She should not be thinking in her mind, I'm going to leave this plate here today because of what he did on Wednesday. And I'm not trying to throw, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to make this about you and your wife.
But that's how it comes
on. Real though. That's real. That's
I don't think that she said, I'm going to leave this plate here today.
Right.
Because of the garage. That's not even that's not even it. It is, I am trying to not be a nag. I am trying to not be a pain in the ass. I'm trying to do all of these things. And then you come in and talk to me about something when I clearly tried to play good in the sandbox.
But at the end of the day, she messed up. Right? Can we agree, right or wrong?
Yes.
100%. Yes.
Then as men, we think the conversation should be, yes, I messed up. My bad. I will fix it. And that's it about that.
Okay, well then it needs to go on the other side as well, because I'm sure that it's not the first time she asked to do that. I know we keep talking about you. I'm so sorry. But I know it's not the first time that she probably asked for him to do the garage.
And so she has every right.
So where's the accountability for? Okay, I think it's not important because people don't go in there. Where's the accountability of she's asked you a couple times and you haven't done it? Where is all of that accountability?
She has every right to in some moment say, yo, my man, we had, what's up with this garage? He has a right at some moment, but why in the moment when he's bringing up out, why is it now when he's expressing himself about how he feels about what she did, how she's wrong for it?
Because now you're neglecting his feelings. You're neglecting him and what you're basically saying it doesn't matter what I've done to you right now or what you're trying to tell me because you didn't do blah 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 blah. So basically, whether or not you even apologize in that moment, it's negated because you're pulling out a whole nother situation that has nothing to do with right now.
No, I don't.
And what? Yes.
Oh, you can say yes all you want. It ain't gonna.
Well, you can say no all you want. The fact of the matter is that's how it lands to other people.
Okay, it lands.
So then, what ended up happening? What
It
ended up
lands
happening
to other people that way.
Okay.
Apparently.
Okay.
So, Sean, tell me what you think happened after that. She had an attitude. She didn't apologize, and then when our guest came, she was doing like, she was kind of in her feelings about things, wasn't engaging as much because nothing got resolved. Because at the end of the day, all I wanted her to do was like, yo, like, it didn't even turn into a conversation because all she was doing was deflecting. And I think that's like woman, in my opinion, that's woman's favorite play. It's like play action. For me, fake the running back and then throw it down low. Because at the end of the day, we ended up not talking about anything. All we talked about was like it became like what Pastor Mitch said, tit for tat. Like it was like, wow, we ain't even going nowhere.
You definitely don't want to get into a tit for tat in your relationship. I think at that particular time, you flag on play it for a minute and then reapproach it at a time when the emotions are not as high and addressing the issues. Because typically what happens when you get a response from a woman, it is because there are some other things that have transpired that, that have caused her to be frustrated. But like, I'm not a deflector. My thing is I get pissed off when people deflect. I'm like, I want to deal with the issue right now. Don't sidebar me. Don't change subjects. Don't make a left turn on me. This is the topic. Let's deal with this topic. And then we can move on to whatever else it is that you want to move on to.
That's
so
me
I
all
think
day.
men and women do that.
Well, but see, so the thing I'm comparing it to is that I've had like probably thousands of roommates when I lived in New York. And if that same situation, which has happened 100 times over, have happened to me and Jay when we were roommates, it would have been like a 2-second conversation. Oh, my bad, homie. Yeah. And maybe even a laugh about, yo, that was stupid for me to just put a plate in the middle of you busting suds. And then it wouldn't have been this tit for tat of like, but my nigga, like you over here, you left the bathroom looking crazy. It wouldn't have been a conversation like that. Jay would have been like, my bad. And then if he would have had a problem with the bathroom, he would have brought it up right in the moment the same way I would have.
Of course.
Like, and I've had roommates just like that. So what you said earlier, the holding part, waiting for the big joker to throw in the big joker to cut the hearts, that's a big play that y'all love to run.
It's supposed to be easier. Just like we could say the same things with our female.
But we don't care. We don't think about nagging the way y'all do. I don't consider myself a nag. I don't think any man really can or brings that to their mind. Like, I hope I don't want to nag her today. If I want to talk, we're going to talk. So, but y'all, I guess on the not nagging complex, I like that. Y'all can patent that. But like the nagging complex is a big deal because that's why y'all throw the big joker at the end of the game. When we talking about
it's because I don't think men habitually listen to a woman's soft tones. You don't listen when we try to encourage and say, you know what, baby, that garage is really getting crazy. Y'all don't hear that. Or you do what you did. Okay, we had a conversation about it, but because most people don't go in there, I now think that it is not as important. It is a negation of what our soft tone is. So by the time it gets to the point where we are tit for tatting or we are upset about something, it is because there are a series of things typically that have happened where we haven't been heard. We don't feel heard, understood. You guys have the same thing, but that's why there has to be a level of communication that occurs and a set of rules that occurs. Okay, when you ask me to do something, I will do it the first time. I will not change the thought process or the pattern based off of what I think. It will be what we've come to and agreed together. And that goes on both sides.
But it's funny. I saw a movie. You'll probably seen the movie. I saw a movie a couple of weeks ago. Just came on TV. It was the breakup with Jennifer Aniston and Vince Vaughn. You ever see that?
Yes.
And it was funny because I had seen it like a long time ago, but seeing it again a couple weeks ago,
different.
It was basically him not doing the dishes, but her wanting him to want to do the dishes, and they broke up over that. But the point is, so if she would have nagged me about the garage, I would have done it, but out of bitterness, like, oh, just not because I don't want to hear your mouth, like you're talking too much. Because the garage, our garage, and y'all don't know this, it's a long-term project. It's, you know, we got 3 kids. I'll just say that.
Right.
So it's not a project where I'm gonna be like, it ain't gonna be a weekend thing.
It ain't a Saturday morning thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hire Jay and Pastor Jay to come and help me out. Like, homie,
this shit requires This shit requires long-term planning.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a bunch of donation stuff and baby, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's not a thing where it's like the dish where y'all can just put it in the dishwasher. So that's a long-term thing. But to your point, though, I think she does talk about nagging a lot. And to me, she doesn't nag me, but I feel like don't feel like you have to hold out. Just talk to me in the moment, in real time.
Well, you don't want to repeat yourself. If I'm like, can you do the garage? Can you take care of the garage? Like after the 3rd or 4th time, you're like, dude, I don't even want to hear myself say it no more. Now I am annoyed at myself. I don't want to hear myself ask anymore. So it does feel like nagging from the woman. We don't want to do that. What we would like is to be able to say, baby, can you please do the garage? And there be action behind it, period.
I think there needs to be a conversation about, like you said, the soft tones. I think that there's a lot we can unpack with that. Of course, this ain't the pod for it, but you know what I'm saying? I think we could put that on the doc.
That's a show. That's a show.
That's a whole show for real.
Yeah, because there is a I had never heard that term before.
Yeah, y'all don't hear soft tones. Yeah, and then y'all say we crazy.
Right.
We're not crazy.
My students do it to me all the time.
No. You're still crazy, but the soft tones you can be both.
Yeah. At what point in the relationship did you make me that way? Because you wouldn't have gotten with me if that's what you actually thought.
I told you it was going to be a good episode.
My mother.
Well,
whoa. So hold on. Let me hit you with something.
At what point in the relationship?
I'm gonna tell you. My mother told me this, and she finally broke down and told me the truth. She said, Jason, all women are crazy. It's just how much you bring it out of them is the level of craziness you're gonna get. So all y'all come with it. So don't sit up here and act like, we come with y'all all crazy. Cool.
Well, I think when men are audacious, like I can totally relate to what Sean is saying. It's very audacious for you to try and check me or call me out or hold me accountable for something when you are not held accountable.
Absolutely.
And that's the part that I can really connect to. But also, I would say if I were in the situation, I would have said something then, like instead of not saying anything. But also, I've been single for a long time, so I don't have that. I don't want to feel like I'm nagging type of thing. Like, so maybe that's the difference. I don't know, but I feel like, so what I'm hearing through all of that is it might be better for us as women if we do have an issue to not keep it down. And like, if you come off as nagging, you come off as nagging. Nigga should have did this shit. So it is what it is. Like,
and that's what, and I think that's what we're saying to a certain extent. Like, yo, if it is a real, not that it's not already a big deal, right? Like, it's already. I can't tell you, and I'm in my crib alone. I got 50 million things running through my head, and I'm alone, right? Mm-hmm. When I was married, it was all types of shit running through my brain, this, that, and the third, all the time. That it wasn't the fact that if she told me to do something that I was ignoring or this, that, it was, all right, let me add this to the long list of shit that I already got to take care of.
Exactly.
And now I got to prioritize which one is the most immediate or needs to get done, which is the low hanging fruit, which one I got to plan for long term and probably apply money to, and this, that, like it's not like
we're. Do you communicate that?
Well,
do you
and
say
so,
that?
and let me get to that. And so, it's not something that it's interesting that you. I'm glad you said that. I don't think we communicate that because it's almost like we're doing it subconsciously, right? You wake up in the morning. It's kind of like what you do when you first. There's a number of things. The first thing you do first thing in the morning. For a man, when you have a family, you're now dedicated to the security and safety of everything that goes on with that family 100%, 360 degrees. So it's not just about making sure they're fed, shelter over the head, this, that, and the third. Hey, let me make sure that I got cameras set up outside so I understand everything that's going on outside the home. Let me make sure I get the kids to school with the best. Like, I can imagine, right? And it's not an excuse. I promise you it's not. What I guess what I'm explaining is that we're not trying to downplay or disregard the stuff that you're bringing to us. It just ends up on a long list of things that's already rolling, and we're just like, all right, does this move to priority 1, or can I put this to priority 3? Because priority 1, she told me 2 weeks before the garage, I needed to fix the fucking windows.
Yeah, facts.
So my question is then why can't that be communicated to your significant other? Because I'm quite
I don't know, to be honest
sure.
with you. It happens subconsciously. I honestly don't know the answer to that, to be honest with you. I really don't, because this really just hit me about understanding soft tones and why I don't ever feel like we want to ignore soft tones, and I don't ever want to come off like that. I don't think any man wants to ignore the person he loves. I don't. I truly believe at the bottom of my heart that no man wants to ignore the person that he's dedicating his life to. What I'm trying to reason and understand and get into is how come those things are missed, or when the person says it, why don't we get on top of it like Sean said immediately? And the only thing I can think of is there was 5 other things before that we probably had to hop on, and now that goes to the bottom of the list, and it's like, all right, I need to knock out these, because you gotta remember, men are very logical. We move in a very logical, and most of us in a disciplined manner, where we on January 1st we received 5 things. On January 15th we may receive another 5 things, but for us, the shit that we received on January 1st needs to get done first. And that may not be like the ideal way, but most of us think like that because that's the logic that we run through.
That's 100%. My wife actually does our calendar. So the fact that I know that it wasn't a high priority, that it was more weaponized to bring it up in that situation, lets me know that it was her not trying to take accountability, because she does our calendar. She knows what all the kids have to do, where I gotta be, where I gotta do. And in the calendar, she would send an invite to be like, all right, so you got a good weekend to do this garage, because she's done it for other things. So like, to me, like when she brought that up to deflect from me bringing up the plate, was her just being a little embarrassed. Because I think a lot of times the women hold themselves at a high standard, to where if you even like bring up like, oh damn, your hair, if you don't say something that's like perfect, they come off like defensive, like, oh, you saying I'm falling off, like everything's like, oh, I didn't say all that, so me saying, oh, why'd you don't put that plate there, came off to me like I was talking to her as if she was not on the standard that I'm supposed to see her as, which to me is just me just soft checking. It wasn't, I was very aware of my tone. I grew up with 3 sisters, just to give you a background of who I am and how I don't play with women, so my tone was good, but it's the fact that it reflected on her to be like, oh, you calling me out, and then all of a sudden it turned into this tit for tat, that all of a sudden you're bringing up garage. I'm like, I didn't see that on the calendar. Now it wasn't a big deal in the calendar. You didn't put it on the calendar.
Well,
So
I definitely think that the conversation should be had when emotions aren't running high, because what you don't want is there to be a bunch of things that are swept under the rug. That you don't want, because then it will perpetuate the situation and it will continue to go. But this is what I say to that as well. So I think sometimes what happens is that, and everybody's, home life is different. What they do is different. But my thought process is, if I get up and I work the same number of hours that you do, and I bring the same amount of money that you do home, then I don't give a shit that you got 15 things to prioritize, because my day is just as bad. And if I can figure out how to make sure that I'm managing the things that you asked me for, then you need to figure out how to manage the things I'm asking you for as well. Now, if you have a different situation where she's an at-home mom or she doesn't do, then there should definitely be a shift in responsibility levels. I believe that as well. But if we are going toe to toe and steaming at the same pace, and I am still capable of getting the stuff and the things that I said that I would do for you in place, then yes, that is my expectation, that you figure out how to do the same.
And see, the problem with that expectation is this: you're expecting somebody to operate. There's nobody like you on planet Earth. You're one of one. So how you handle and manage 15, 20 different things is not going to be the same way somebody else handles it. It's not going to be, I can't expect somebody to look at something and be able to do all the things the same way you do. It's not fair. Hold on. And when you knock stuff out, right, and the way you go about it, another person, especially them, may not be able to do it as efficiently, as fast as you just said in the third. So the expectation that you have for that person based on how you do it, they're going to fall short every time. That person has to be able to handle and manage things at their own pace and at their own rate, despite how you do it yourself. And that's not a bad or a good thing. That's just accepting that person by how they go about things and trusting that it's going to get done.
Well, I agree with you, but then there's still it gets real squirrely when you have an uneven distribution of responsibilities, and then so what happens when you don't rise to that occasion? Then it starts manifesting itself into other things. You want to lead the household, you want to do all these things, you want to be the king, you want to do all of this stuff. What it does for a woman when she has to step into the place that is rightfully a man's is make it hard for her to respect you. She can love you, but love, that's good. You want her to respect you.
Are you saying that he's not doing it, or is he not doing it at your pace? Because if you think a man is going to do something the way you want him to,
I'm not saying the way that I do it. That's
right.
Not what I'm saying.
So if he's accomplishing everything, what is wrong? If he's doing all the things, then how is he falling short? How is he not leading?
Well, if he's not communicating certain things, or he's allowing so what happens typically with women, if let's say that there are 5 things and we realize that y'all haven't done 4 of the 5 things, we'll go in and step in and start to do those other 4 things for you. And what happens is, if that continues.
Right, but that's not what I said, Clint. That's not what I said, Sean. I said if he's doing all the things and he's accomplishing them.
Not doing all the things. I said she did 4 of them. He only did 1.
You're not that. My question is, if he's doing all the things, but he's doing at his pace, how is he not being or leading the household?
Okay, so again, if there are a series of things that need to be done, and they're being done at a pace where she has to step in and do them on a consistent basis, what it does is lead to resentment for that woman. That woman will begin to have a level of resentment. And then from there, it can cross over and leading into a lack of respect for that man.
Okay, so let me say it again in a different manner.
The relationship will be over.
Let me say it again in a different manner. If he's doing it all himself, if he's doing it, you don't have to do nothing. If he's doing it all, but he's doing it at his pace, and he's knocking it out, you don't have to do nothing. He's doing it. He's doing that at his pace. How is he not still being a leader?
Is it the pace that's agreed upon between both of them?
So that's the thing, right? How do you agree to like, I'm doing things, and he's going to do things the way he does things? I have to bring that to you and say, well, I'm going to negotiate on the speed on how I do things, the speed.
Yes.
Okay.
There are issues with.
I think in a
That's a good
relationship,
question.
if things need to be accomplished, the woman negotiates as well. You don't just get something and say, "Oh, when I get to it." No, there should be communication between both parties of what those timelines need to be.
I've lived with this issue where my timeline ain't her timeline, or her timeline ain't my timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Where here's in relationships, a lot of stuff is unspoken. There are expectations that are expressed, but after the expectations, the how and the when and the what's and the, you know what I'm saying, those tend to get cloudy, and those really don't get talked about. So just like the whole the garage situation, there was an expectation of it getting done. Time was like time. They missed on time. They was on two different sides of the field when it came to time.
They weren't though. He said that he decided it wasn't important because
Right.
nobody goes in the garage. So they weren't on two different timelines. He changed the timeline based off of his personal thought.
Right.
Eddie, is that what happened?
Means that
I
they were on two different timelines.
I triaged. I'll be honest. You're right. You're right,
Yeah,
Sean. I triaged. I decided the kitchen
didn't
was more
speak about
important than the garage. Garage would take at least a long weekend. I didn't have a long weekend. I'm a busy dude. So I would get to it when I got to it. You're right about the timeline. And she would have wanted it sooner, of course, Sean. You're right. But I didn't get to it because I didn't have a lot of time to get to it.
Right.
But the point is that you don't throw it in my face when I'm asking you about something else.
I agree with you.
You know, and then it turns into where we're not talking about nothing. And you know, we all in this room, we get irritated when you're talking about nothing. Like, let's get to a point. Let's get to a resolve. Let's bet. How do we better ourselves after this conversation?
Right.
But at the end of the day, if we food fighting, we just look messy now.
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%.
I think an important thing for the gentleman to take away here is that you don't ever want, I mean, not just for the gentleman, but in this particular case, I believe your wife felt unheard, right?
Totally.
And then Sean's talking about soft tones, and I get that too. Like, you don't ever want your partner to feel unheard, because that's really what it's about.
Agreed.
You know, I don't think that you're going to get that upset that the garage is not cleaned, you know, but I will get upset as you're not hearing me. If you have a pacing that if you've agreed to do something and you don't do it, then you should be communicating that. Hey, babe, I know we talked about me cleaning the garage. However, I have this, and this going on. So whenever I get done with that, I'm going to get to the garage. Like, there's like an update, if you will. And vice versa. If you can't do something that you said you were going to do, then you need to check in and communicate that so that they know and they don't feel like you didn't hear them. You're like, obviously you physically heard them, but you're just blowing it off, right? So that's gonna make a woman be resentful because of that, right? And then now she's gonna, in turn, maybe she'll respond in a petty manner and be like bringing up something, you know, from 2 weeks ago that you did, because now you had the audacity to call, like, make her seem like she's doing something wrong when you haven't been hearing her for the last.
John's in the waiting room.
Oh, okay.
And that's where effective communication comes in, and where I'll just speaking generally, men sometimes fall short, and that's the feedback portion of it, where we get information from y'all and stuff happens, and then we don't circle back,
right,
and give either how we feel about it, or we don't give an update, like you said. Because again, you know, just going back to my own situations, there's been plenty of times where the expectation was one thing for me and another thing for her, and I'm off doing whatever, and everything good. It was good for me, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And then she end up finding out about it, and it's an issue, and vice versa. She off doing whatever, and she think everything's great. I stumble on it. I'm like, yo, what's this? And then she was blah, blah, blah. I was like, nah, that wasn't, you know what I mean? But had we come together in the middle of it during and said, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm up to, you know what I'm saying? Then things could have went better. But coming back after the fact, it already done happened. Now we dealing with the aftermath,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Versus the middle where there's a fork in the road. We could go, you know what I'm saying, to road to success or the road to misery. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we love tit for tat, but we don't want to go tit for tat.
Right.
It's funny though, but the communication, that's interesting, because now it's like, all right, so you want me to do this? What's the expectation? Right? And maybe that's something we should ask. What is the expectation? Oh, babe, I need it done in like a week. Babe, I don't know about a week, because these are the things that it's going to take to get this done. And I'm going to need some more time and or help. It's going to be more like a week, a month, or two. Like, I guess that conversation, I guess when we start looking at stuff like that, men need to ask that question, the expectations behind those requests, right?
Yeah,
And
I
so,
think if you, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, and there's an understanding of what and when things need to get done, and if we're going to fall short, we know up front we need to communicate that and talk about it. So I can dig that. I can dig it.
Yeah, I think that's let's leave that there, because I want to make sure we have time to get into what we were talking about last week that was so controversial, and that was showing appreciation, right? And I don't know where we left off exactly, but just to bring it back a little bit, I know we were talking about how, like, women may expect certain things from a man just because they're a man. And then if they do those things, there's not necessarily an acknowledgement of said things that men do that they are expected to do because they are men. Whereas we were hearing the men say, we would like to be acknowledged for said things that we do, whether you had to tell us to do them or not. So that's kind of where we left off. We had a lot of division. Jay, didn't you say it was like all the women were on the same
One
side
of
of the men?
So for example, let's just take what we were just talking about. Mm-hmm. Let's pretend Eddie did the garage. The attitude of the women right now is, I ain't saying thank you. I'm not showing gratitude because that's some shit I had to ask him to do. He's supposed to do it. What the men are saying is, a simple thank you and acknowledgement of a job done can go a long way.
I think that it depends. So
you think what?
You saying thank you for her doing the calendar and reminding him to do the garage?
Or cooking dinner?
It wasn't on the calendar.
So I'm saying I think it goes both ways.
Absolutely.
But I definitely think it goes both ways. The other thing is, I think something that what men don't understand sometimes, and this is what I try to drill into my boys so they won't have this problem when they get older. If women have to do things that resemble what we do to raise children, we think of you as that third or fourth child. So if I put something on a step and all three of my boys step over it and my husband steps over it too, and I got to tell all y'all to pick it up, I am now in a space where I am working with you in the same way that I work with these kids. So when it's like, say please and thank you, or when like those are the things that irritate the shit out of me, because I want the man to be, I don't want to think about the person that I'm sleeping with in any way in which I think about these children. And so all of that appreciation, like you said it before, you get a trophy when you're younger and you get patted on it. That's all kid shit. It's all kid shit. So if I have to do the same things for you, pat you on the same way, the manner in which I pat these children, and then you want to fuck?
Just completely turned off.
I think we're taking away.
That may not be the right thing. I am not saying I am correct in that. Mm-hmm. What I am saying, when there is something that is reminiscent of what I do to make sure that my children are raised a certain way, and I got to do that with my man too. It's like, why do I have to do that with you? We are partners.
I think whether you're a child or a grown person, I don't care what the fuck it is or who's doing it. You are supposed to say thank you. That is not a child thing. That is not an adult thing. That has nothing to do with race, gender, creed, color, hip, or hump. If somebody does something for you, it's because they wanted to. It's because they felt like it was the right thing to do. It was because they in themselves wanted to do something for another person. And the fact of the matter is, they didn't have to. There are 3 things that you are required to do right now in life. You're required to be the color of your skin, you're required to pay taxes, and you're required to die. Outside of that, everything else is a choice.
Yeah, but you'll leave a
I am
miserable
not
life.
required.
Outside, but you'll be miserable if you don't do certain things. That's like you're gonna be miserable.
You're not required to do anything. You're not required to do anything.
Let me understand one thing real quick. I know I missed the first part, like the last episode. So are you saying you don't agree with affirming your partner?
Oh no.
Like if you're
No. I absolutely agree with affirming your partner. I absolutely agree with being his biggest cheerleader. I absolutely agree with making sure that you are in the trenches with him, helping him grind to where he has to be 1,000%. What I don't agree with is every time you open my door, I need to say thank you. What I don't agree with is every time you do the little things that there should be a affirmation. No, it should be, listen, we're grinding, baby. You got a crazy meeting today. All right, you got this. We're going to, like, that's what I think is the adult affirmation. I don't agree with the you open my door. No, you open my door because we're raising these boys to be right, and they need to see you do this for the woman you love. That's why you're doing it. If me not saying thank you for opening my door triggers you in a way where I'm not affirming you, what are we talking about?
So what are you? So how are we teaching our daughters?
Same way.
Same way what? If they're not seeing you say thank you, why would they?
I didn't say that they didn't see me say thank you.
But you're not though.
No, I'm not.
Right. So if they're not seeing you say thank you, then why would they do it?
Because I don't think my daughter should have to say thank you to the man that she's sleeping with for opening her door. I don't think she should do that. But let me tell you what she is going to know how to do. Affirm her man.
I think there's just some confusion with the difference of the two. I mean, you broke it down. It's clear that Shauna is saying what affirmations are, and she does not equate that.
I'm supportive as hell. I'm supportive to a fault.
Yeah.
You got a dream. It's my dream.
Girl, you and Leo already know how loyal and supportive we are.
So it is not about giving affirmation to my man. It is not about showing a level of appreciation. You do something for me, you come home, you may have a whole thing going on here. You're going to get affirmed. But the basic things that you are supposed to do, I believe, for me and my relationship, I ain't saying thank you to you. I don't expect you to say thank you every time I cook dinner because you got to eat. And I got to walk through that damn door.
I think the problem arises, though, when you're raised in a society where, as a child, when you do good, you get recognized for it somehow, some way. As an adult, intrinsically, you're still going to want that same thing and you're going to yearn for it.
Yeah, it's that everybody get a trophy shit. I don't believe everybody should get a damn trophy.
But once it's in your mind that you should get acknowledged somehow, some way for doing good, when you're an adult and that stops happening, that's going to start affecting you in a way. Whether it be in the workplace or in the home or, in your social circles.
How does it affect you in the home? Like if you're feeling like, you're not getting acknowledged for the things that you do around the house or the little, thoughtful things that you do or whatever the case may be.
If it ain't addressed, eventually you start asking yourself, why am I even here? What am I doing this for?
It's definitely resentment.
Yeah, resentment all the way.
So on the flip side of that, then if we were going out of our way to show appreciation for the smallest things, what would that do for our relationships? If we did say, like, Sean, if your husband did every night or most nights when you cook, say, hey, honey, thank you for cooking dinner. It was great. Would it change anything? Would it make you feel more like now you want to reward him with some good sex or something like that, just because he acknowledged the hard work that you put into it, versus if he just says nothing because that's the expectation that you guys have is for you to cook him dinner?
No, there are expectations that you have. And again, this is where you communicate in the relationship or whoever you're with. But dinner ain't one of it. I don't need you to thank me for no damn dinner, because there are bigger things that I do. There are bigger dreams and goals that I have. There are things that I'm trying to create generational shit up in here. So don't thank me for no dinner. Get behind me and support me as I'm trying to get these damn cocoa beans out of Africa. Like, that's why I ain't thanking you for no opening my door. No, we about to create a whole new stratosphere for these children. No. So, and again, that's my personality. I don't believe everybody get a trophy. That's probably why I have several businesses, because you have to be able to take that loss. You have to be able to not get patted on the back every time something happens. You got to be able to have that different type of mentality to push through when ain't nobody giving you appreciation for shit.
I think that's the reason you have to show recognition, because if you can't give them money, most people respond to recognition. And I know I've done sales for a lot of my life, and it's funny when you give somebody recognition in front of people, you wouldn't believe this grown, big, brolic dude is all of a sudden like feeling good about themselves.
No,
so my point is, because it's a cold world out there.
No,
recognition is huge.
In business. I agree.
So at the end of the day, those little small things can come back on you, because I could easily throw it on you like, you're supposed to give me the pussy every day. But when you do, thank you.
But
because I know it's hard out here.
You are.
Do you be thanking your wife for when y'all have sex?
I'd be like, you're right.
Oh, I thank her while we having sex, because I know it's hard out here. It's hard out here.
But see, when we start, the problem with this is the problem with
but
this
that would
is
fall under cooking. Oh,
when we start talking about this sort of thing, about what we're supposed to do, it's a slippery slope. And here's why. Men out here, since everybody wants a traditional this, that, and the third, if we want to start traditional, your ass is supposed to be in the house cooking. Your ass is supposed to keep a clean home. Okay. There are a lot of things traditionally
talk about no work.
that hold on.
Don't overcook my grits.
I've been sitting here chilling. I've been sitting here chilling. Listen, and there's a lot of, we start talking about what people are supposed to be doing. I'm telling you right now, there's going to be an argument, because it's like, all right, well, as a woman, you're supposed to cook, clean, and fuck me on demand. I don't know a woman in these times that's going to go and do any of that on demand.
They're there, but they
hold on. On demand.
They're there, but they're at home.
She said they don't have to work. They
ain't got to do nothing. Their entire life is about managing their husbands, the household.
But we don't live in those times anymore, ladies.
Well, they don't talk about that. You brought it up.
Hold on. Let me finish. Things have evolved where a woman feels as though I can make my own money and go to work. I don't want to be holding to a man, and I can still hold down the house. And that is your right. And those are the times that we live in, right? We don't have laws anymore that prevent you from going to work. We don't have laws that prevent that now allow discrimination against women because they're either pregnant or the wrong color and this, that, and the third. You have these freedoms and you're taking full advantage of them. And I applaud that, right? There's nothing wrong with that. So when we talk, so there's nothing, tradition also is shaped by the times.
Correct.
Right. So we're in a different time space right now where you can do both. And a lot of you want to do both because you never want to put yourself in a situation where you're beholden to a man, especially financially. And that's fair. I get that. But there's something that comes with that. We're no longer in that traditional space anymore. We're no longer in a space where you're at home and I'm taking care of the household. You now have a voice. You don't have to do what I say or I ask. And so that entitlement that we're talking about goes out the window because we're no longer in those times. And that's okay. But I think we have to adjust to that on both sides and understand that now we're going to have to start thinking in a different plane, on a different plane, and get to a place where, okay, there are things that I was supposed to do back in the day that my parents did that I'm not required to do. But I will do these things because I want to. And because I want to, you're not entitled to that. And because you're not entitled, some affirmation is okay. It doesn't have to be every time, but notice that I'm working 40 hours a week and holding down the household. I'm taking care of these kids. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I don't know. Yo, Mother's Day? Come on, son. That is the biggest affirmation day on the planet. Next to fucking Christmas, it's like the biggest holiday. If that ain't a day for affirmation, I don't know what is.
But
and
I
that's
think
all
living in
I'm
a state
saying.
of gratitude, man. I'm with you 100%, Jay. You got to live in a state of gratitude for that reason alone. The fact that a woman like Sean and Carolyn don't need us, but they want us. I think that's sexy as hell, in my opinion. The fact that they don't need us, y'all ain't checking on my check to get it popping. But the fact that you still want to be here and cook for me and chill, thank you.
And the booty's nice. You don't have to be here. You don't.
I love it. Bring it back tomorrow.
You literally listen.
Will I see you tomorrow?
Listen. I'm gonna keep it funky with you. Women in this time and place right now do not need a man for anything, unless you really like dick. But if you want to have kids, you can do it on your own. If you want to make your own money, you can do it on your own. If you want your own household, you can do it on your own.
You can buy penises at the sex store too. So
well, that part. What do we actually bring into the table?
Not that I know or anything.
For me, I don't subscribe for that.
I know you don't. I'm just saying overall.
Yeah.
In reality, where we live right now, the times that we live in, you all kind of really technically don't really need us. So
for a miserable life, personally,
whatever.
I like the companionship of a man. I like having the guidance.
Absolutely. And I thank you for it.
I love laying in the arms. I love all that. So
I thank you for it because you don't have to.
Yeah. I do. I think I actually function better and calmer when I am in a stable relationship.
Sure. No, what I'm saying is that you have a choice. And because we recognize you have a choice, thank you. Thank you for choosing us.
Did you wear that?
Yeah, but you only need to say it once. You ain't gotta say it every time I fucking like. Come on, that's all I'm saying. Like you don't have to.
I don't see why not though. Why not?
We free agents.
What does it hurt to say it?
What does it hurt to say it?
My mindset is like I'm doing bigger. I don't need you to thank me for no cooking. Thank you.
They ain't no franchise players no more. Everybody's free agents.
Here.
I'm glad you playing on my team.
Quick question, just to check the temperature. Just signed in a new house. Is that a thank you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, because everything that you as a man, that I as a woman had to do to reach this goal, this was a joint effort. It was a team. Listen, I am so thankful that we are together. I am so thankful that we accomplished this goal, baby. Absolutely. That is a huge affirmation. Okay. But I ain't going to thank you when you open my door to walk through it.
All right.
I will, because that's just me. But I don't see anything wrong with it. I think it's just being appreciative. But I also get Sean's point too. And you said something last week that that really stuck with me regarding like level of expectation, right? And how like some women, like the reason why you think you're not going to do that is because you have a high standard. Like this is my expectation. You should be opening the door. You should be taking out the trash and those kind of things, as opposed to maybe some women who maybe are not moving that way, and maybe they should be. Maybe not me, but maybe if someone is doing that or thinking for every little thing, they're just showing appreciation for like any little thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's not necessarily making a man come up to high standards.
Sides.
You can do both though.
I mean, on my side as well, that I should be doing that. I don't necessarily need the affirmation for every time.
Yeah.
You can do both though. It's called encouraging good behavior. You should expect a man to open the door. Mm-hmm. If he does, and I'm just talking about dating. I want to make sure, and let me put this in context. I'm talking about in the dating world right now.
Mm-hmm.
If we're dating, if your expectation for me to open the door for you, and I do it without you asking, but your expectation, you can have the expectation, and you can also say thank you. Because what happens is, hold on, let me finish. What happens is that the man now hears this woman has acknowledged that I'm a gentleman early on. So now I'm going to maintain this, because what could happen is I open the door, she doesn't say shit. Now I'm thinking, oh, she don't give a fuck if I don't do this or not. So I might not do it next time, or I might not. What it does is when you say thank you, it affirms the fact that the behavior that you're seeing from me is what you want. So I'm going to make sure I keep doing it.
I like that.
Let me say this. So I may not thank you for opening my car door, opening the door, but at the end of the night, if we've had a good night, I'm going to say, you know what? I had an amazing time. Thank you so much for being such a gentleman. So I'm not going to do every time you do something, but the affirmation will come from, this was an amazing date. I am so thankful. But that's where it comes in for me. I just don't onesie twosie. But it doesn't mean that there isn't an affirmation that comes in, or thank you or gratitude that comes in, or the next time, okay, let me show you a good time. Like for me, that's I'm good for, like, you come and you
I'm just explaining how you can manage a man, right? That's all I'm saying.
But see, this is the thing. And this is probably the horse reality. Please don't kill me, nobody, when I say this. I'm just somebody that needs that.
It's not about needing. If you're dating, Sean, you're talking marriage. If you just met somebody and you're dating, mm-hmm. They don't know you, you don't know them. They have no idea what you expect. And I don't have any idea what you expect.
Correct.
Right. So we're in training mode.
No, what I'm talking about that at this age, I'm almost 50 years old. There are some things that at this age, I ain't training you to do. Period.
You're not paying attention. If you don't say, if I'm already doing it, and if you don't make any bones to recognize it, all right, cool. Then you don't give a shit. Then I'm not doing it anymore.
Well, here's the thing. I'm glad that you said that, and I think that's important. So I want to visit that for just a second. If that's the case, because say, Jay, you are doing those little things, and you're not getting that acknowledgement, and then you stop doing them. Now that's going to impact things in a negative way. Because if you're not opening my door, and my expectation is that you open the door, and you're thinking, I don't care about you opening the door because I didn't say anything to you when you opened the door, then now I'm going to feel away because you're not opening the door and I expect you to open the door. And that could cause me to stop seeing you. Don't go on a second date or a third date. Right. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. And that's why I wanted to stop and slow it down and talk about that for a second, because I think that's important. If that's how men think, if affirming and saying thank you and doing all those things makes you want to do that behavior more, or shows that that's the expectation so that you can continue to do that, then that's something to consider when dating. Because to your point, if you don't, or if you feel like the woman doesn't care about it, now if you stop doing it, I might not date you. Because if I go out with a dude and he don't open my door, I will not go out with him again.
I'll give you a real live example. This actually happened again. I don't know why I just happened to be listening to the radio this week. Woman hit her man up. Yo, I'm going to lunch, baby. She's at work. I'm going to lunch. Dude sends her $30. Right? So she's like, she has an attitude about the $30. Right? She doesn't say thank you. She pops an attitude about the $30.
She like, what am I gonna do with this?
What am I gonna buy with this? Right? So
okay.
So she goes, she at the end of the meal, she takes a picture of the receipt and says, your $30 went to the tip.
Wow. At least she didn't have to pay the tip.
Yeah. So basically what you're telling them is that, yo, that $30 won't shit. You know what I mean? It went to the tip. It wasn't even enough to cover the meal. Now, what do you think this man's gonna do from this point on? And because he got to respond.
$30.
He what?
He'll date somebody that only needs $30.
I love the way Sean thinks.
Right. Because to your point, exactly. What that young lady could have said was a simple thank you. I appreciate it. Because now what's gonna happen is, yo, I sent her 30 this time. Let me send her 50 the next time. Let me send her 100 the next time after that. Fuck it. Let me call ahead and make sure she's good no matter what. The bill don't even come to her. You know what I mean? Like, you never know how the little things that somebody does that get affirmed can lead to, as you're dating and you're moving on and getting to a place where you're always around each other, can lead to now we're 9, 10, 12, 2 years in. Oh, he's killing it.
Again, I think it depends on the age range. I think so. Real story. My ex-husband, our first date, he took me to Subway. It was like, I don't know you. You got $5. And it was the funniest thing in the world, but it worked because that's where we were in our life. Somebody take me to Subway today, it's going to be a different story. I think it depends on where you are and what the expectations are. Do I think that she should have sent a picture of the tip? No, I think that was probably rude. Mm-hmm. But if she didn't, she'd just still be sitting there talking with her friends, talking about that nigga sent $30. I mean, it's still going to happen. He said $35. What the fuck he think I'm going to do with $30? It's still going to happen. And that's where communication comes in. Because if you're dating someone who is used, I say this all the time. I have a lot of male friends and they have different success rates, right? So you have a woman who is not accustomed to flying to wherever, and she gets with this man and he flies her with him on a trip he was already going on. She is like, oh, he's doing this and he's great. And I'm like, girl, he was doing that anyway. Mm-hmm. It is not special because this is a financial level that he is at. You are just the one in here. Next week, he's going to be flying somebody else to the same thing because that's where the financial level is. And that's a hard conversation to have. If two people decide to come together and one of their financial situations is not where the other one, particularly if the woman is more and the man is less, then she has to understand that and not play him for him, and then understand, okay, if that's the $30 that he have and this is a stretch for him, then let me say thank you for that. But somebody else could send $500 or somebody else could start off calling ahead.
There's that.
So you have to play in your field. And if you're not going to play in your field, then you may get a picture of the tip showing that you're $30.
And that's why I think a lot of men get frustrated too because of that. They're not playing in their field. That's the thing.
But how do you know what field you play in? Hold on.
Honest about it.
Hold on.
Honest about it.
Hold on. Do y'all walk around with motherfucker I'm expensive on my forehead?
Yes. You can tell by what the fuck I wear. You have one conversation with me. You have one conversation with
Sean, there's women out here who wearing Gucci, Louis, and motherfucking Papadopoulos and ain't got 2 nickels to rub together.
Yeah, because they living in an apartment, paying rent.
Right, but I don't know that when I meet you, baby girl.
Oh, well, that's where communication comes. I don't think that you should be sending any money to no woman in the beginning. That is, I think
and this is where as a woman, you don't know what's going on out here in this dating world because you're a woman, one, and number two, what's actually happening. Because right now, what's happening is chicks are asking up front for trips to Bora Bora.
Well, that's the wrong chick.
Yeah.
Y'all keep saying that, right? We keep saying that, right? And there's probably some truth in that. But what I'm saying is that
and you got to figure out why you attracting that.
Well,
because we are nothing but mirrors and reflections of where we are in our life.
Mm-hmm.
Like seriously.
That's true.
There's something
that's out there.
I'm picking up. Where I'm getting my information from is I pay attention to the internet.
Well, right. They need some counseling.
And if I'm seeing it on in the internet, that means a lot of other people are seeing the same thing, right? And this is one that I always tell Carolyn. Just because you don't do it or you don't do it, that doesn't mean it's not happening, and it's not happening at a magnified rate because social media is so powerful. When a regular guy may come on, it's not about what we're attracting, it's what we're seeing. Right? If I'm a guy that doesn't attract a lot of women and I'm being the chaser and I don't know how to engage, I'm finding every angle to figure out how to do that. And social media right now is the best way to do that. It's a microphone right now for ladies. And that microphone is saying, hey, you need to do this, that, and the third.
It's also creating lazy men too, because you have such easy access to ass and titties all day long on social media. Then you think things are supposed to come easy to you, and you don't necessarily want to work hard or be held accountable for doing the things that men should do while dating and or in a relationship.
Well, I like the way a woman always says something like that because a woman never has to do the approaching. So it's easy for you to sit in your little chair and think it's so easy to do that when you never have to, and you never have, right? Talk to me when you start approaching men on a regular basis, and let me know that.
You ever step to a man, Sean? I'm curious.
No, I'll make him come to me.
How do you do it? I'm curious.
Various ways.
I'm staring at him because she Medusa with it.
You do this? Hold on, Sean.
No, I can.
Yeah, you can't wave them over.
No,
I
can give. I'm interested energy without having to move from my chair.
Yeah,
got him.
All about the eyes.
Oh,
okay, we are winding down on time, but I do want to pose a final question for the group because we do want to leave with some solutions and some advice. So how can we get past our fears, work through our fears, identify the fears, and improve our relationships?
I'll do the improve your relationships. I think everyone is different. And the most important thing is, number one, never sweeping anything under the carpet because that carpet will just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And making sure that the things that, seeking understanding before being understood, I think is a major thing that most people don't do. If I can understand why you are bothered or upset, and I can actually say it back to you in my own words, so that you can actually understand that I understand you, that's half the battle.
Facts.
That means that I am now talking to the true fact and not what I think you're saying. I now have demonstrated that I understand what you say. I have demonstrated in my own words that this, and it also gives you the opportunity to say, no, that's not it. You got it wrong. Let me tell you what it actually is. And if you can get through that process, if each person is willing to do that, I think that there'll be better progress. I think a lot of times people argue over what they believe the same topic is, but it's really two different parts of the same topic, which is why you just run in circles.
That's good stuff. I love that. Eddie? What do you think?
That's the question again. What was say it again?
Just what can we do to get past our fears and improve or create healthy, happy relationships instead of letting those fears kind of hold us back or create problems within our relationships and then they eventually don't work out?
Yeah, that's a hard question. I think for me, and I'm gonna sound real cheesy. Forgive me. You got to find someone that's afraid of the same thing. You know, like me and my wife. You know, we're afraid of God. Because like Sean said something that was so gospel. You can't trust people. People ain't shit. People gonna change, like the weather, depending if you live in LA. But I mean, anyway, if you're New York, you something else. But my point is, people change. But if we're both afraid of God and both afraid of failing our kids and our family and each other in the same way, oh, bro, that keeps us honest. You know what I mean? You know, I mean, and that's the thing that we always try to hold ourselves accountable of. Are we changing this generational trauma that we both grew up in? You know, her and I had the same trauma as kids, and we're not trying to bring that into our family. So we're super conscious of being afraid of that, being a liability. You know, being the girl having a daughter that's on a first date talking shit about where her daddy was when she was growing up,
right?
And then going home with a dickhead. You know what I mean? So like, I don't want to be that dad, and I don't want my sons getting bullied by some chick that like out here because they don't got no heart because we never gave it to them at home. So there's a lot of things that I'm afraid of, and I want to be. I'm with someone that's afraid of the same things, and that's how we kind of manage each other. We check each other by being afraid of the same things. By
That's
checking
good.
fear.
Yeah. Woo! Jay Mitch.
I said this, I think on the last we did, but you got to identify them fears. If you don't even know
what you're scared
of and why you're moving in a certain way, and it's because you're moving in fear as opposed to moving in confidence, then you know you're gonna keep making the same mistakes over and over. Once you identify your fears, you got to look at the motivations behind them. Why am I afraid of this? What happened way back in my childhood, you know what I'm saying, that got me acting this way as a grown adult? You got to, you know, get some help in getting that solution, you know, and then and only then can you be able to move in a space where you can even work in concert with another person in a relationship where you're a help and not a hindrance to the whole, you know, to the whole relationship.
I love it. That's good stuff. I would say, well, first, I would say thank everybody for being on the panel tonight. It was another great show. I appreciate you all. Sean brought the fire again tonight. I appreciate it. Come back anytime, Eddie. It was good to have you back. J. Mitch always spitting hot fire that people really need to hear. So love you guys and appreciate you. Jay, love you and appreciate you, even though you get on my nerves. And what I would say about hiding behind our fears, I mean, I feel like I've started to look at things from a big picture sense, like almost like identifying what it is I want or what it is I don't want, and then working from that. So it's like if I know that I don't want to be alone, then I've got to figure out how to get past my fear of commitment, you know, and I have to take a look at what that looks like and work on that, you know, and that could be therapy. It could be all kinds of things. It just depends on you. But if you know you don't want something, then you're gonna, the more you think about that,
don't talk, just listen.
Oh, sexy time.
Come on. I'm sitting here trying to get on the podcast so I can see the comments, and I'm putting on one of your.
Left you crying.
Hey, since you've been gone, I've been all alone.
Come on,
oh yes, I love it. That was so perfect. Yeah, just, you know, think about what you want or think about what you know you don't want, and the more you think about those things, your mind will automatically start to like create solutions or attract things that will help you kind of move past your fears. And just like we talked about last night, talk to someone. If it's not like a therapist, like an official therapist, talk to a trusted friend or person that you're close to, and allow them to kind of just listen and support and guide. And you got to be transparent, though. That's key. You have to be transparent with yourself. You have to be transparent with yourself. And then that's, I think, where you could start. And so that's what I'll say. And then I'm going to pass it to Jay to close this out.
The hard part about our fears is that as an adult, we talk about being grown people, and we talk about the fact that we recognize and we can see our fear, and we can even recognize the fact that we need help. And even then we can get the help and be presented with solutions. The most interesting part is that we don't do the work to quell those fears and move forward with actually becoming better, right? We see it, we know what's wrong, and the fear lies in the fact that if I actually decide to take action and change, I don't know where that's going to go. The most frustrating thing I hear a lot of people talk about, and I'll hear them say, they'll be like, it's one thing when you don't have any idea or understanding why you do what you do.
There's another thing when you do.
It's a whole other world when you totally know why you do what you do, can break it down, explain it, and even though you need help on it, and then you go get help with it, a path can be presented to you to fix it, and you don't do anything to do something about it. Mm-hmm. It is the most frustrating thing I see. And the only reason why, and I'm speaking from experience, was the fact that I was presented with different things in my therapy where there were going to be some things that all things could have been fixed, but there were some things I was like, I definitely need to fix these things. And there was some things I was like, you know what? This is just going to be me. And I'm going to live with this. I'm going to be okay with it and go with it. And be able to explain to other people, this is who I am. But there were other things that I was like, I'm going to fix these things. And I made a decision which helped me become the person I'm evolving to, that I want to evolve to every day. And again, it's work. It's a decision. It comes down to a simple decision. And I think that's the most frustrating part about getting past our fears, is that we don't make the simple decision to say, I'm going to get past this. Because the tools are out there. The support is out there. You just have to do it. And so that's my final word. I appreciate Sean so much for coming on. I appreciate Eddie always dropping gems. Jay always supporting us and dropping additional gems. And to my lovely co-hosts, every week we do this. You bring us together and we always have a great conversation. I hope our Tit for Tat Nation has learned something. Again, we are not experts. We're having a conversation. We hope that you have the conversation on your own. If you ever want to come on here and talk your shit, come on, talk your shit. Carolyn needs all the help she can get because she loses every week.
I don't want to last. I don't want to last 2 weeks with Sean on here.
Nobody's scared of you.
Okay, don't try it. You made us miss the exit because you want to be instigating shit at the last minute.
All right, yeah, I was trying to talk shit. So exactly. No, for real, no. And hold on, before I really sign off, there's no winners or losers in this thing. I fuck around. I play a lot. There's no losers or winners. It's what we learn, how we learn, and what we choose to learn from other people and what's being stated and how we carry that. And I know every week I get better. I learn something new from everybody, not just on the panel, but online. Mm-hmm. It's about perspective, man, and taking people's perspective and respecting it and taking it in and living and learning from it. So much love to everybody that always supports and provides their perspective, because it's just as important. Mine is no bigger than anybody else's, and that goes for the same one. Oh, everybody on this panel, and I know the panel feels the same way. So appreciate y'all. Listen, this is the Tip and Tap podcast where we always bring the spice, but we always keep it nice. Love y'all. Holla.
Bye.